Let's discuss the mandibular techniques now. The first mandibular local anesthesia technique is inferior alveolar nerve block. Guys, this is a very important local anesthesia technique in case of mandible. It anesthetizes the pulps from tooth number 31 to 38 or from 41 to 48. That is, it anesthetizes the teeth on one side up to the midline. Second number, it anesthetizes the mucobuccal periosteum on the buccal side from the area of second premolar to the midline. It anesthetizes the lingual mucoperiosteum up to the midline because it anesthetizes the lingual nerve as well. We don't need to give a separate lingual nerve block when we give inferior alveolar nerve block. Then it anesthetizes the anterior 2/3 of the tongue, including the floor of the oral cavity. It also anesthetizes the inferior portion of the ramus. What is the target area? We deposit the solution in the pterygomandibular space. Pterygomandibular space. Indications. As you all know that infiltration does not work well in case of mandible. So the main technique here is inferior alveolar nerve block. Whenever we want to perform extraction or endo treatment on a single tooth or on multiple teeth. Let's say if a patient needs root canal treatment on lower premolar, in that case we will give inferior alveolar nerve block. But when that patient needed RCT on upper premolar tooth, rather than giving a nerve block, we went to give infiltration. But since infiltration does not work well in mandible, we will give inferior alveolar nerve block. So if patient wants to get his tooth extracted or endo treated, even if there is single tooth. Second, if a patient wants to get treatment on multiple teeth, for example, if dentist wants to perform scaling and root planning on quadrant number 4, then dentist will give inferior alveolar nerve block because inferior alveolar nerve block, it anesthetizes the pulpal tissue of all the teeth on that side. It anesthetizes the lingual tissue. It anesthetizes the buccal tissue from midline to the distal of second premolar. Of course, that dentist will need to give long buccal nerve block, which we will discuss later. What are the contraindications? The main contraindication is if there is acute infection or inflammation present at the site of injection. Second, if patient has any bleeding disorder. We also need to take care that is with inferior alveolar nerve block, since the lip, they also get numb, so a child can bite his lip and he can get severe trauma on his lip, so we have to be very cautious in that scenario. The next technique is Gaugates. Gaugates technique. Basically, in Gaugates technique, we deposit the solution at a slightly higher level above the area where we inject the solution in inferior alveolar nerve block. When do we give Gaugates technique? Whenever in question you get that a patient was given inferior alveolar nerve block but the injection was not successful. So when inferior alveolar nerve block is not successful, only then we give Gaugates technique. After unsuccessful inferior alveolar nerve block. For example, let's say the patient wanted to get an endo treatment on his second molar tooth. The dentist administered inferior alveolar nerve block, but even after 5 or 10 minutes, his lip is not anesthetized, his lip is not numb. This gives you an indication that inferior alveolar nerve block is not successful. So in that case, you will give Gauguet's technique. Guys, you always remember that in case of ACJ exam, we don't repeat the injection. Of course, in a normal scenario, you will repeat inferior alveolar nerve block in any clinical situation. But in case of ACJ exam, we never repeat any injection. So when inferior alveolar nerve block is not successful, we will move on to Gauguet's technique. What are the contraindications? The contraindications are same, that is acute infection or if there is bleeding disorder. The third technique is Vazirani-Akinosi technique. Before I discuss Vazirani-Akinosi technique, I forgot to tell you that in Gauguet's technique, in addition to all of the area that is anesthetized with inferior alveolar nerve block, it also anesthetizes the area which is anesthetized by long buccal nerve block. That is, it also anesthetizes the mucobuccal periosteum from first molar to third molar. So basically, when you give Gauguet's technique, you don't need to give long buccal nerve block. No need of buccal nerve block. Vazirani-Akinosi technique, it has a main indication when patient cannot open his mouth or a patient has trismus or a patient has limited mouth opening. In case of trismus, for ACJ exam, we only give Vazirani-Akinosi technique instead of inferior alveolar nerve block when patient has trismus. The contraindications are same, that is acute infection or bleeding disorder. In Vazirani-Akinosi technique, we need to give long buccal nerve block in case we want to extract a molar tooth. But in case of Gauguet's technique, we don't need to give long buccal nerve block. The next technique that we will discuss is mental nerve block. It gives us the soft tissue anesthesia mesial to the mental foramen. The target area is mental foramen. Which is basically near the second premolar tooth. The mental nerve block is used when you want to take any biopsy from the lower lip, or let's say if you want to remove a mucocele from the lower lip. If it is not on the midline, then you can give mental nerve block. What are the indications? If you want to take biopsy, or if you want to remove mucocele, if you want to suture the lip, if it is not cut in the midline. The contraindications are acute infection or inflammation at the site of injection. The next technique is incisive nerve block. The area of injection is the same as that of mental nerve block, but incisive nerve block, it anesthetizes the pulpal tissue of the central incisor, lateral incisor, canine, first premolar and second premolar. Pulpal tissue from 3-1 to 3-5 or from 4-1 to 4-5. The indications are in case you want to perform scaling or root planning in case of anterior teeth or up to premolar teeth. In that case, instead of giving inferior alveolar nerve block, we will give incisive nerve block. But if you want to perform root canal treatment on any of the anterior teeth or on the premolar teeth, you will not give incisive nerve block, you will give inferior alveolar nerve block. And the contraindication for this is acute infection or inflammation at the site of injection. The first supplemental technique is intraligamentary. The intraligamentary technique is used when we want to treat any isolated tooth or when we don't want to give bilateral inferior alveolar nerve block. The contraindication of the intraligamentary nerve block is if there is any infection or inflammation at the site of injection. The second supplemental technique is intraosseous. It is similar to that of intraligamentary. It anesthetizes the buccal, palatal and or lingual and pulpal tissue of the tooth in question. Intraligamentary also it anesthetizes the buccal, lingual and palatal area of the tooth in question. We avoid giving intraosseous anesthesia if the local anesthetic solution contains vasoconstrictor. So basically, if local anesthesia contains vasoconstrictor, we avoid giving intraosseous, but in that case we can give intraligamentary. The indications for intraosseous block are same like that of intraligamentary, that is when we have to treat an isolated tooth or we want to or we don't want to give bilateral inferior alveolar nerve block. The third one is intrapulpal. The intrapulpal technique is used when you are performing a root canal treatment on a particular tooth and inferior alveolar nerve block was successful, but while you are entering into the pulp, the patient felt pain. In that case, you will give intrapulpal anesthesia. This technique has a 100% success rate, but in case the tooth was non-vital, in that case you will not give intrapulpal anesthesia. So basically, when patient had pain upon entering into the pulp after having a successful inferior alveolar nerve block and it does not have any contraindication. So guys, these were three supplemental techniques that we just discussed. Supplemental techniques. Now we have discussed all of the maxillary and mandibular local anesthesia techniques also. Now I will give you few examples and will tell you which local anesthesia technique we need to use if you get any of the following examples in the exam. Friends, now since we have discussed all the local anesthetic techniques, so now let's come back to the same question. The question was, the patient was feeling sharp pain while taking hot and cold drinks. Pain lasts for 5 minutes. History was 1 week and the tooth in question was 1/6. Medical history and allergy were non-significant. The question that we got was, patient wants to get his tooth treated. What local anesthetic technique should be administered? In ACJ exam, they don't give you the diagnosis. They want you to make the diagnosis, and when you make the diagnosis, they want you to tell the local anesthetic technique that you would use for that treatment. Though we will discuss the diagnosis in endo, but for the sake of your convenience, the diagnosis here is acute pulpitis. And patient wants to get root canal treatment done, RCT done. So if a dentist wants to perform root canal treatment on 1/6, what local anesthetic technique should he be using? The answer is infiltration. Always remember that before performing root canal treatment, we put rubber dam as well. So since we are giving infiltration here, this means the infiltration we are giving is on buccal plus palatal. So we are giving two infiltrations here. Two infiltration. Friends, let's make some changes in this question. So let's say if in this question it was written that there is localized abscess on tooth 1/6. So because there is localized abscess on tooth 1/6, that means we cannot give infiltration. When we cannot give infiltration, the next anesthetic technique that will anesthetize the pulpal tissue of 1/6 is, so the answer is PSA nerve block, posterior superior alveolar nerve block. Since you are giving posterior superior alveolar nerve block, you are anesthetizing the pulpal tissue of 1/6, you are anesthetizing the buccal soft tissue, but for the lingual soft tissue, because the clamp has to come on buccal as well as palatal side, you will give infiltration for palatal, sorry. I will now discuss some examples from endo, exo, perio and operative.